When Anthony Joshua versus Kubrat Pulev was announced back in the end of February, start of March for June, I mean, at the time, I was not a happy G-man, outside of YouTube with things going on. So that was seeing that was like, oh, geez, another thing to, get upset about is because I didn't really want to see that fight. I knew it needed to happen. It was a mandatory, all that. But I was like, it's AJ versus Pulev. Obviously, it's got pushed back. It's got pushed back now to December. And I've been fast and I've been like stern in what I've been saying. That I think AJ is going to steamroll Kubrat Pulev. He's been saying it himself that that's what he wants to do. But I've seen, every time I've done videos on it and I've said that, they've done well. But I've always had people in the comment section saying, hang on a sec, G-man, we get where you're coming from. We know how it looks. But give Pulev a bit more credit. He can be fiddly, he can be awkward. This could be maybe not a banana skin for AJ, but Kubrat Pulev's going to surprise you. Now, I was surprised to an extent when Andy Ruiz beat AJ. I mean, I could conceivably have seen it, but I just thought, especially with the weigh-in, because he was heavier than he was in his last fight, it was only a couple of weeks before, I kind of thought, this could be a quick night's work for AJ. The build-up I was kind of thinking, maybe, we'll see, it depends. But when I saw the weigh-in for the first fight, I was like, no, this is going to be a walkover for AJ. So obviously I got it into my head that was going to be a walkover, and then it wasn't. He obviously lost, so I was surprised. I really can't. Well, I'm doing this video to kind of maybe talk about Pulev's chances, but I really don't see Pulev as having much of a chance in this fight, just in my opinion. Just based on what I've seen, and just based upon Kubrat Pulev when he's really stepped up, like against Klitschko, and the fact that when he stepped up against Klitschko, that was 6 years ago, right? In 2014, it's a long time, okay? And he really didn't do himself enough credit in that fight. He buzzed Klitschko early with a jab, and he did buzz Klitschko. Go back and watch it. Klitschko's legs did a little dance from a jab. That's the one thing I will say Kubrat Pulev will definitely have a bit of success with in this fight. He will be out jabbing AJ. That jab is a weapon. Even at 39, that jab of Kubrat Pulev's is a weapon. It's stiff, it's hard. It's harder than his right hand probably. Or at least it seems to do more damage than his right hand at least. That's going to be a weapon in there against AJ. Alright? We have AJ 2.0. Alright? That is fair to say. AJ is because some people have been saying that they don't feel as though AJ is fully, like when I say AJ hasn't fully recovered from the first Ruiz fight, I believe that hand in heart that there are still some demons there. So people come out and say, well, he won the Ruiz rematch. He's obviously cleared the demons. Yeah, but he won it by boxing very negatively, not wanting to even remotely engage Ruiz. He took a beating in that first fight. He did. I've seen some people say it was a lucky punch. No. He exchanged with someone who has much quicker hands than him and is good on the inside, has short hooks, and he got caught, and then he was dropped again, repeatedly. It was nothing lucky about it. Look what Ruiz was doing in the rounds where he wasn't dropping AJ's rounds. He was winning like the 6th round. He was going to the body. He was doing very well. So I still think there's some residual damage there. Do I think that Kubrat Pulev is the man to exploit it? Not necessarily, but when I've watched a couple of Kubrat Pulev's old fights, and I do think that yes, maybe I am giving him as much credit as I should be. He can be a bit fiddly. Kubrat Pulev is not someone who is gonna have an out and out toe-to-toe war with you. That's not him. He cannot fight on the inside at all. Alright, that's AJ's domain in this fight. Kubrat Pulev has no inside game to speak of. AJ has a very good inside game with his uppercuts and hooks. Extremely good. Kubrat Pulev is great at long range. Now, AJ in the Ruiz fight, he had his success at long range. So people are saying this is AJ 2.0. He is the AJ who boxes on the outside, he keeps it at long range, he uses the jab, he sticks and moves. Well, two things. One, AJ was light in the Ruiz rematch, a lot lighter. He is looking a bit heavier. Just from the eye, he's looking heavier, so he might not be able to move for 12 rounds without having, a good work. Well, not good work, without having issues with stamina. And second of all, Ruiz, 6'2", short, plodding heavyweight with not long arms. Kubrat Pulev loves it on the outside. He loves having those little fiddly chess matches. He loves just landing one more eye-catching shot just to nick the round, this, that, and the other. So if AJ does decide to box Kubrat Pulev at a distance with his jab, with right hands, with like that, like the way he did AJ, or the way he did Ruiz, I think that's actually going to play into Kubrat Pulev's strengths. And if he does do that, he could end up on the end of Pulev's jab. And look, AJ and Klitschko, in terms of their punch resistance, it's hard to get an accurate gauge as to where they both are, well, where in Klitschko's case, but I would imagine they're both similar. And I definitely think that that Pulev's jab would hurt AJ, and it maybe even would, seriously, maybe even would drop him if it landed on him with full power. Seriously, that jab is that good that it can do that. Alright? The things I worry about with Kubrat Pulev, and one of the reasons why I've said that I feel as though he won't win this fight is his age, because he's 39 now. He's not a young man anymore. That's fair to say. Heavyweights tend to, age differently in terms of where they are in terms of their ring career. 39 is still 39 at the end of the day. The best win he's had since Klitschko is Chisora. It was a good win. But other than that, Hughie Fury, Sam Peter, Randall Broker, Bogdan Dino, not great names. Not great names at all. So that's my worries for Pulev, that he's not exactly match ready to go straight back in at world level, and he's not been in there with punchers. You could say Sam Peter, not these days. He's not a puncher. He's not been in there with punchers. When he starts getting hit hard by AJ, I wonder will he have demons of the Klitschko fight, where he was getting bounced from pillar to post. That first knockdown in that first round, he never fully recovered from that, because Klitschko was hitting him hard in the subsequent rounds when he wasn't dropping him, and it was still concussing him a bit. Pulev, to me, do I give him a chance to win this fight? There's always a chance, but I really am struggling to make a case for it. When I look at him, I think he can be extremely fiddly. Could he potentially go the distance? If his defense on point, then yeah, he potentially could. Kubrat Pulev, as well as that, he's been clinching a lot since the Klitschko loss. You go look at his fights, he clinches a lot. He's physically strong. AJ's physically strong too. I think they could meet. I think they could be both probably equally physically strong. If I'd have to give it to AJ for his youth athleticism. He probably will be a bit stronger. But I think that Pulev, if he really wants to try and box defensively, box fiddly, and keep AJ at the end of the jab, he could go to 12 rounds. Whether he gets a decision or not, I don't think he will. I think AJ can win, can outbox Pulev himself. Having said all that, I think there's going to come a time in this fight, and this isn't my official. This is kind of similar to a preview and prediction, but I'm just kind of giving my 2 cents on the Pulev situation as opposed to AJ. But I think at some stage in this fight, AJ will look at Pulev and think, what, he's being fiddly, he's being this, his jab's hurt, but I'm going to need to take it to him. And I think AJ will, and I think that's when we'll see Kubrat Pulev capitulate mentally and possibly get taken out of there. I am curious to see if we'll have fans in here. As much as I would love to see fans in attendance, I'm not optimistic. In truth, I'm not. And I wonder, would that hinder AJ more? I know Pulev has fought in front of screaming Bulgarian fans before, but he's also fought in America where they've not really been, screaming fans. I don't think it would affect Pulev necessarily as much as it would affect AJ. Might not affect AJ at all, right? Might not, but he's been in the Principality Stadium, he's been in Wembley, he's been in MSG, he's been in Saudi Arabia, full of fans screaming his name. This would be a different atmosphere, very different. So we'll need to see how AJ can cope with that. Having said all that, the moral of this video is to say, do I think Pulev has a chance? You've always got a chance. Would I give him a chance? Not particularly, but boxing, anything can happen in boxing. And it usually does. So, would I be picking him? No. Would I give him a chance? Not really. But I can see how Pulev can be fiddly. I can see why people say that I'm not giving Pulev enough credit. I can respect that. But I also ask that you can understand why I see this fight as a bit of a foregone for AJ as well. So, long video. Talked about a lot of things. Hope you all enjoyed it. Smash the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe, of course, if you are new. Leave a comment in the comment section below what you think of this fight, who you think will win. And as long as you keep respectful, we're all good. Keep respectful, we're all good. But let me know your opinions. Let me know your thoughts on this fight. I hope you enjoyed this video. Smash the like button, as I always say, if you haven't already. We've been growing in subs rapidly lately, pretty much since August, so we keep that going. Hashtag G-Man's Rocks, King of Ripped Jeans. As always, peeps, I'll talk to yous. I've been G-Man. Peace.